The lineup is Joe Morgan, John Elway, Michael Jordan, and you. Now it's like...
You're forgetting one.
Oh, my bad. Who?
Charles Barkley.
And Charles Barkley. Right? So it's like, on paper, which one doesn't belong?
Right here.
JJ.
JJ. Who the hell is this guy, and how the hell is he on this trip?
I'm Tom Ward, and over the last couple years, I've had the chance to sit down with some of the biggest celebrities and influencers in the world. What I've always found most fascinating is the stories of the businesses that they've built behind the scenes. On this show, you'll get an inside look of what it takes to build a successful business from some of the biggest celebrities, business people, and up-and-coming entrepreneurs in the world. This is The Tom Ward Show.
Hey guys, welcome to The Tom Ward Show, where we talk to the biggest entrepreneurs in the world and get inspiration and motivation from their story, but also real tips on how to start or grow your existing business. And we're here with JJ Dudum. He is the principal at Discovery Land Company, and he's also the investor in several successful startups, which we'll talk about in a second. Welcome to the show, man.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, shout out to Michael Gruen for setting this up.
Michael.
The connector of all connectors.
The connector.
You know, it's funny. We spoke a week ago on the phone, kind of just getting an intro call. Yeah. And you said you just got off the phone with Steph Curry to talk to me. And first of all, how do I follow Steph, right? That's going to be a big letdown conversation. But, you know, your network is incredible of, you know, CEOs and athletes and artists, and the list is endless. And I'm not asking you to name anybody.
Right.
But do you think that's because you're the opposite of really everyone else? You're not trying to get a picture, a selfie, and immediately post it on Instagram every time you sit down. Is that part of the reason for your success, you think?
Yeah, you know, I kind of let things kind of happen organically, you know, just kind of get to know them, they get to know me, you kind of just let it all roll downhill and see where it goes. But it's not about the opportunity for myself. It's not about me. It's more about the situation, me being present, them being present, us having a good time. And I've been fortunate that a lot of these relationships have come up from that. Mm-hmm. And it's been fun. After college,
you were in the restaurant business with your brother. Did
Correct.
that happen right after school, or did you have some jobs in between?
Yeah, so it happened right after school.
Why? When I read that, I'm like, that's like the worst business to get into. Why would you go into the restaurant business? Were you like really passionate about it? Did your parents own a restaurant business or something?
No.
Like, how did that happen?
We had this little commercial property up in the Bay Area that was like, it basically fed our family. Mm-hmm. That was like kind of what we grew up on. It was a small little property in Alameda, California, of all places. Mm-hmm. And there was this restaurant in there, and the owner of the restaurant, I think he was going through divorce. There's just a bad time for him. Mm-hmm. And there was an opportunity to buy the restaurant. And my dad had told my brother and I, hey, you guys should take a look at this. And we're seniors in high school now. Okay. Or I was a senior, my brother's a junior. And we're like, what? There's no chance. We're going to be pro athletes.
Of course,
just give me a break, Dad,
not
right?
Staying in town and run a restaurant.
Yeah, there's no chance. And as the conversation went on, he's like, seriously, you never know. You always want something to fall back on. And this could be great for you guys, a great learning. We're like, what do we know about the restaurant business?
Yeah.
I mean, I was a delivery boy for Domino's Pizzas, you know.
Yeah.
I know a little bit about delivering food, but I don't know anything else, you know. And the guy was going to bankruptcy court in Portland, Oregon. And we went up to Portland, Oregon, and we bought the entire restaurant, every plate, every spoon, every sauce, ovens, stoves, tables, everything for $10,000.
Get out of here.
Oh, yeah. We didn't have it.
Yeah.
But we made it work, right? And then we're like, okay, now we got this restaurant. What are we going to do? And we had a relative in the business that actually knew the business.
Okay.
We put him in there to run it for us. Mm-hmm. And we kind of dibble-dabbled. And obviously I went to college. My brother went to college, and both playing sports, doing our thing. And we'd keep tabs on it and kind of go back and forth. But, you know, Dad would watch over it when he was around, and our relative was mainly the person. And as time went on, sports came to an end. Mm-hmm. My brother and I got involved in the restaurant business. Okay. And it was great. You know, we loved it. It was all about hospitality and service and taking care of people, and obviously the food and which we just came natural to us. Mm-hmm. it just came natural. Just the way we were raised just came natural to us. And through that, we took that one restaurant and we turned it into about 18 restaurants.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. It was my brother and I, and then we had some cousins that got involved in the whole conglomerate of the restaurants.
Is your brother a pretty good entrepreneur too?
Yeah, he's definitely an entrepreneur himself. Loves people. He has a great skill set for people, and he was great. He was more back of the house. He loved cooking.
Okay.
He loved getting in there and talking with the employees and having a good time and back of the house stuff. I was more the front of the house guy, like, hey, Tom, how you doing? Where are we sitting tonight? What kind of bottle of wine we having? You know, so we had a great balance, which worked out well. And eventually, it must have been, the early 2000s, I was like, this restaurant business is beating me up.
The hours, you always have to be there. You constantly have to be watching.
Yeah.
And look at you now, kind of the life I see from the outside. Like, it doesn't seem like you have to be in one place all day. You can kind of have the flexibility, it seems like, in your career now, where I can work at home for a little bit, I can travel and do my work there.
Right.
So how did it feel to have to be that guy for many years in the restaurant business?
I didn't really probably know the difference at the time.
Yeah.
Right? It's kind of what I was doing at that phase of my life, those years of my life. And I'm just like, this is my gig. We're going.
Yeah.
I didn't think the alternative, like, what would it be if I had to just like stop in and stop out and come here and come there, because it just wasn't my job.
Yeah.
Of
course.
But now doing what I'm doing, I look back and I'm like, wow. Probably one of the reasons why in the early 2000s, I'm like, I got to get out of this business. This is killing me.
What was it? The hours, or just being stuck in a place, or just the whole thing?
It was the whole giddy up, and it never ends in the restaurant business, right? Somebody's always complaining. Something's always breaking. We did lunch and dinner, so you're there in the morning. The produce doesn't show up, or the ordering's not right, and then you got to shut down for lunch. You got to open for dinner, and then people, stay as long as they wish to stay. And next thing you know, you're counting your registers and you're cashing out, and people leaving the restaurant at 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning, and you're back there at 7 o'clock to get the produce again. Yeah. It's like, at the moment or at the time, you just, it's your job, right? So it just kind of goes and goes and goes. But like anything, that intense for that long, it'll burn you out.
Of course. Now, Joe Morgan was a big kind of, it sounds like mentor and friend, and kind of changed your life. Was he part of this next phase of your development, or did you know him at the time? So
I knew Joe Morgan growing up in my early teen years.
Oh, okay.
Joe Morgan.
If people don't know who Joe Morgan is, shame on you, number one, but tell them who Joe Morgan is.
Well, Joe Morgan is a Hall of Fame second baseman from the Cincinnati Reds, part of the Big Red Machine. Had some time, obviously, with the Oakland A's and the San Francisco Giants. Joe was, obviously a well-known local celebrity in town. And we lived, I don't want to say close, because he was in the high rent district and we definitely were not, but within striking distance where you're going to see him here and there and so on and so forth. And one thing my dad did, through his early years of his career was he was a salesman, but he was a linen guy that, they sold towels and sheets and bedspreads, and one of his accounts was the Giants and the A's, and he sold the locker room, the towels.
Oh, cool.
For the ball players and what have you. So he met Joe and so on and so forth, and obviously being a proud dad, telling Joe about me and my brother, and
baseball
Joe
careers.
Makes time to come say hello to us from time to time. And
oh, wow.
We meet Joe, and one thing led to another. We were actually bat boys for the Giants for a few years, my brother and I, growing up in our early teen years.
That was the dream of mine when I was a kid. Yeah. That's like the coolest job you could have.
It was fun. We met a lot of great guys, had a lot of great times, and Joe and Willie McCovey and a bunch of guys were getting closer to the family as we grew up through this, and it was fun. So anyways, Joe, as time went on, I'd see him more and more, living semi-close, and became friends. I was obviously a lot younger, but I loved him, and he took a liking to me, and we became buddies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now you fast forward. Now you're invited to a golf outing, but not just a regular one that people like us get to go to. The lineup is Joe Morgan, John Elway, Michael Jordan, and you. Now it's like...
You're forgetting one.
Oh, my bad. Who?
Charles Barkley.
And Charles Barkley. Right? So it's like, on paper, which one doesn't belong?
Right here.
JJ.
JJ. Who the hell is this guy, and how the hell is he on this trip?
100%.
100%.
So how do you get on that trip?
So I got a call from Joe.
Okay.
And I was just learning golf. I golfed a little bit, but I was not into golf. I was always baseball and football, right?
So another reason for you not to be there.
Not to be there. You know, but I loved it, and when I got out there, I was athletic enough to hit the ball around and not make a fool of myself, but I wasn't the golfer them that I am today.
You're probably better than Barkley, right?
He actually wasn't bad back then.
Oh, he wasn't bad?
He was decent.
Yeah.
Got bad. Now he's getting decent again.
Okay, all right.
So anyway, Joe called me up. He's like, hey, we're going to go on this golf trip. I'm like, golf trip? He goes, yeah. And they had a spot. And so fly over to Pinehurst in North Carolina.
Wow, one of the best golf. I don't know about golf, but I know it's one of the best courses.
Definitely a well-known place. And as you mentioned, it's Joe Morgan, Michael Jordan, John Elway, Charles Barkley, and JJ Dudum. Like, what the hell? You know? Anyways, we had a great time. We laughed, we joked.
Well, stop right there, right? Because there's something you're glossing over that's big. Now, I just read, I'm a big NBA guy. Jason Tatum just met Michael Jordan when Michael was eating dinner. He was so nervous, he knocked over Michael's wine glass, shattered it, and the wine went all over Michael because he was so nervous. Now, you're in the situation, I think me and a lot of people would be extremely nervous and not comfortable or at ease at all.
Yeah.
But you're joking around and having a good time with these guys. How did you manage that?
I just don't think it hit me at the time.
Okay.
Right?
You're just golfing?
I think I look back at it now and be like, wow, that was crazy that I was, this kid that gets invited to this golf thing, and wow, right?
With Hall of Famers.
Right. And at the time, I think I was so young and kind of in my own athletic world and kind of doing my thing, and I was with Joe, who always made me feel very comfortable.
Okay.
That it happened.
Wow. And you mentioned, or I read somewhere that you said that changed your life and led you in a different trajectory in business than before. Did that?
Well,
what impact did that have? I mean, did it have an immediate impact?
I think it gave me confidence.
Okay.
By
being around these level.
people, and now doing what I'm doing, and we happen to, a lot of our client base are celebrities and are high net worth individuals that I mentioned before, and I think it kind of gave me a little bit of foundation under my feet that just be you. You don't, just because it's whomever it may be, just be you. Yeah. Right.
So I'd meet, high net worth people or celebrities and stuff and just interviewing them.
Right.
And, it's friendly and maybe we have a connection afterwards, but, it's tough to develop like a real friendship after a 4-hour golfing outing or sitting down with somebody for a couple hours. How did you, it's going to sound kind of dicky, but like, why would they keep in touch with you?
No, it's actually a very good point.
How'd you pull that off? Everybody wants to get in touch with them.
I asked myself, like, why me?
Yeah, why? Like, you had something that attracted them to you and wanted to hang out. What was it, you think?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I always try.
You've got something.
I always try to be myself.
Okay.
I always try to be respectful. I always try to be loyal. I always try to just like to have fun.
Yeah.
Like to have a good time. Maybe they like having a good time.
Okay.
Obviously, golf is a huge part of getting to know people, especially with what I do and what have you. And 4 hours, 5 hours is a long time to spend with somebody.
True.
When you're golfing, you better like who you're golfing with, because it could be a long round if you don't. And
you get to know somebody
for
in
sure,
5 hours.
For sure.
And if you grab lunch with them after or something.
For sure. And I think competition, being competitive.
What's Mike like? Is he a trash talker always?
Who?
Jordan.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I've heard stories of him gambling on the golf course and just talking.
He loves to talk. He's Michael Jordan, right? If anybody can talk it, he can talk it, right?
100%.
But him and I have some great times. great times. You know, whether it's golfing, we've taken trips to get family trips together. We've taken trips together, dinners, obviously. We both love to gamble. We both love our cigars. We both love our tequila. You know, so we kind of get in that mode, and we just go. But he is about as class act as you get, and just loves to have a good time. But he loves to compete.
Yeah.
Loves to compete. He does. I don't care if you're playing him for $1.
Yep.
I don't care if you're playing him for $1 million.
Yep.
He is going to play you just as hard.
You know, it's funny. Well, not funny, but you look at, you know, ex-athletes at a high level, a lot kind of go the other way and go into drugs, risky sex, you know, wild behavior, because they don't get that thrill every Sunday hitting somebody. Right. And, you know, all of a sudden it's stop and you're sitting at home. It's like, wait a minute. Right. I need some kind of transition. Right. So maybe cocaine will give me that or something, right? You know, but it sounds like Mike found something kind of healthier to turn it into.
Well, all those guys.
Yeah, true.
Michael did. Yep. I mean, John Elway is like a brother to me. I mean, he could not be. I mean, he's one of the best dudes on the planet.
And an incredible entrepreneur, which a lot of people
incredible entrepreneur, incredible guy, and just he's the best. Charles, you know, he is so funny. He just cracks me up. I hear his name, I start laughing. But again, Charles is another one of those guys. You know, just fun to be around, a lot of laughs, a lot of joy, and you know, obviously Joe, you know, has passed since. But when Joe was around, you know, he was a big entrepreneur. Yep. You know, did car dealerships and Wendy's franchises and did a lot of things. But yeah, I was fortunate that I didn't get around many people that were dibble-dabbling in the things I'm glad I'm not a part of.
Yeah.
It was more of guys that were great mentors for me in life, let alone guys that love to do what I like to do.
Yep.
You know? So
when did Discovery Land Company come into the picture? Was that during that time, or was it after you leave the restaurant business?
Yeah.
Now what?
So it was, Discovery came around to me. It was early 2000s. I was invited to go down to a golf course in La Quinta, California called the Hideaway. Okay. And I was like, okay, fine. Hideaway. I never even heard of Hideaway. Yeah. And the first time you go to Discovery course and you see, you know, the comfort stations and this beautiful golf course without a brown piece of grass anywhere and these amazing homes and food and the service, you're like, holy cow, this is like Disneyland, right? What's going on here? And obviously had a great time, went again. And as I went down there, I ended up meeting Mike Melvin, who I mentioned, our chairman, founder, and one of our other partners, Joey Aronson, who was there when Mike started the company as well. And they invited me to dinner. They're like, who's this, you know, young guy, fun guy, enjoying his cigars and tequila and gambling. And I had a cute little girlfriend back there, just to bring in the energy, right? Sure. You know, so we just had a good time. Yeah. And we went to dinner at Ruth Chris Steakhouse. They took me like in Palm Springs somewhere. And we got to know each other. We had a great time. We had so many laughs and jokes and had a great time. And one thing kind of led to another where, as I mentioned, I was just frustrated as all hell with the restaurant business. I'm like, I'm out. And I didn't know what I was going to do. I was 30 years old at the time. Okay. And
you better figure it out.
I better figure it out, right? And they were joking with me that you should come work for us, especially Mike. I'm like, come work for you guys.
What do I know about real estate? I was in the restaurant.
Come on. And those talks got serious, you know, as time went on. And I think it was maybe 12, 14 months after that, we're doing a new property called the Madison Club, which actually was on the same land the Hideaway was on. Okay. And we didn't know we ended up developing it. And they threw me on there as a junior sales guy, like just go learn it, right? And I went there and I learned it, you know. I'll never forget one of my first jobs that I got from a guy named Nick Blodgett, who was my direct boss at the time when I first started. Said there was 194 lots at the Madison Club, and I had to go write a 3 or 4 line paragraph about every lot and how they're different and how this one's better than this one or whatever else. I don't know about you, but you go out to a 500-acre parcel of land and step on 194 lots, and you're going to tell me how they're all different when all it is sand, barbed wire, tumbleweed, and coyotes. You're going to run out of words real quick. And I'm like,
and they all start looking the same after a while.
Everything started the same. It was all the same words, but I'll tell you one thing, the restaurant business seemed pretty good at that time. Anyway, I got through that assignment, And one thing led to another with the company, and I stuck close to Mike, stuck close to Joey, and the opportunities continue to present themselves, and they're literally my family to this day.
Yeah.
Right? Mike, like I said, is like a brother, mentor. Joey is same boat. He's definitely like my brother, and we spend a lot of time together, both in the office, out of the office. We have an amazing amount of respect for each other, and what Mike's vision and what Mike created and what Joey and I do to help execute everything for the brand. We have a great time. We've been very fortunate. We've been very blessed. It's been a good run.
Talk about some of the properties, because somebody's hearing this, okay, Discovery Land Company,
Right.
It's a kind of a generic term,
Right.
but not for a generic company at all.
Right.
A very high level. I went on the website and looked at some, and we'll insert some pictures here of some of the properties, but
Right.
explain what a property
So
is.
we're a high-end luxury real estate brand.
Okay. What is that?
We have properties throughout the United States and now internationally, and we're land developers.
Okay.
So we'll develop the land. For the most part, we'll start with a raw piece of land and develop it all.
Okay.
And we'll put in the golf course, we'll put in the clubhouse, we'll put in the spa, the gym, the retail, and then we'll create these lot pads where people will come buy the pads and build their custom homes. We will also build some built product where people don't have to think about building. It's a turnkey deal for them.
Yeah.
A lot of our properties are seasonal. So, speaking of the Madison Club, you don't want to be there from June till October. I mean, it's 120 degrees and whatever else, but so people will go there, from November to May and maybe someplace else in the summertime. We have the summer place would be Gaza Ranch, right? Up in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho on the lake.
Oh, wow.
You don't want to be there in the winter months
Yeah.
because it's freezing cold and rain and sleet and everything else. But from June to October, it is like setting your thermostat in your house. 80 degrees, it's perfect, a beautiful lake, summer place, so on and so forth. We have places, we have Silo Ridge in New York, we have Baker's Bay on a private island in the Bahamas, we have Barbuda down in the Southern Caribbean, we have, Portugal, we just opened, Costa Terra in Portugal, we just opened up.
Wow.
We're looking at a deal in Montenegro, we just signed a deal in Dubai.
Wow.
We've been fortunate to be part of the Yellowstone Club up in Montana, the only private ski resort in the world. We have McKenna out in Hawaii. One of the first projects that was a huge success for us was Kikio out in Kona. So we have 32 properties now. We're continuing to grow.
Privately owned?
All privately owned.
It's beautiful.
It just, like I said, we've been very fortunate. We've been very blessed. It's been a hell of a run. We have a very, very unique client base. We do charge, a premium to most to be part of these properties. People kind of get carried away with the golf or the amenities we provide, but those are only amenities. Those are kind of going back to being a salesy sales guy. One thing that helps us not sell is our amenities, right? Hey, Tom, come down to the Madison Club, and I just kind of set you free. You're going to go golf, you're going to go to the spa, you're going to bring your wife, you're going to have a nice meal in the clubhouse, go to the gym, get a workout in, go.
Sounds like a great day, but I'm never going to be back because I can't afford it.
There you go.
But it sounds like a good afternoon. Yeah. I'm down if there's an invite.
But it takes the salesy part out of it,
Of
right?
course, sure.
So it's an organic transaction that just kind of put them out there, and again, let them see it, feel it, touch it, and we've been lucky.
You started as a sales guy, kind of figuring the business out, and I always think that's a great place to learn, right? You start at the bottom, you learn the business. Yeah. Now you're a principal. So how did that happen? Like, what's the summary of the in-between?
I've been lucky,
That has a lot to do with things.
I've been lucky, of course, hard work, and of course, a lot of time and determination, and doing anything I can to make an impression was good. But none of it would be possible without the opportunities that Mike gave me. And I just made sure that every opportunity I had, whatever it may be, I need to capitalize on it and give it 110% and make sure I make not just an impression, but a great impression. And I've been lucky.
Yeah.
I've been very lucky that it's worked out. So yeah, it's been step by step of growth, and finally in a position where I am a partner and principal, and trying to continue to grow every day.
Yeah. And so you've got all that going on, and that's kind of your quote unquote day job, which I'm guessing takes more than 20 hours a week, right? This is going to take a large chunk of your time.
Right.
Yet you're involved in Casamigos Tequila and Viore, which is my favorite leisure wear men's company ever. You're involved in these startups. How did that happen, and how do you manage that too?
Well, I hate to be redundant, but I've been very lucky and very fortunate, but you're around.
But luck only goes so far. Come on.
Well,
luck may get you the opportunity, or put you in the room with somebody.
As they say, you keep walking around, something's good bound to happen.
Okay.
Right? So just being in the right place, right time. The Casamigos story was fun. Mike and Randy and George, that started it. I was very fortunate to be there from day one and had a little part of it that was great, and we're still enjoying it to this day, and it's still going on, and it was one of the funnest brands I've ever been part of, and it, like I mentioned, it's still going.
Mm-hmm. Successfully.
That was amazing, right? That story's one of one in anybody's lifetime.
Yep.
But those guys put it together, and a few of us were lucky to be part of it, and I happened to get one of those lucky straws.
Mm-hmm.
Viore, same difference. One of our financial partners at one of our projects out in Nashville, the Troubadour.
Okay.
He and his very good buddy had started Viore, and out of the garage. And
I love your stories.
And they were raising some money in a few different raises, and we were able to get in early, as it was very beginning stages, and we had put some money in there, and Viore's doing what it's doing.
Yeah.
I love the fact you love it.
Oh,
I love
guys,
hearing that.
That's the only shorts I work out in. The shirts are good too, don't get me wrong, but the shorts I love, man. I use them. I have board shorts, I have workout shorts. They're just the greatest.
It's a great brand, and Mike Persall and Joe Kula, the guys behind it, that Joe mainly that started, and Mike was our financial partner in Nashville. That was his best friend through college and whatever else. Could not be better guys.
Yeah.
Right? It could not happen to better guys.
So when you look at these opportunities, you look at your career and go, okay, restaurant business, real estate. I don't know anything about real estate, but I'll figure it out. And obviously you did.
Right.
Somebody pitches you, athletic clothing company or a tequila company. Don't you go, what the heck do I know about tequila?
Do you
just have that confidence like I've learned before when I didn't know anything, but I think I'm smart enough to figure it out. Like, where do you get that confidence to go, yeah, why not?
Well, it's these guys' ideas, right?
Yeah.
It's not my idea.
Sure.
I'm a gambler, as I mentioned.
Yeah.
And I'm fine taking a shot, and some work and some don't.
Sure.
I've just been on the lucky end that I've had pretty good luck that more have worked out than not.
Yep.
Right? And being around the right people that, have given me the opportunity to invest
100%.
at the right time.
Yep.
So all stars have aligned for the most part.
But money's not hard to get right now because, interest rates are going up and stuff. Yeah. But for a while, it's like, I got to put my money in anything, right? Anything that's going to increase in value.
Right.
So a lot of people, so there's venture money out there. There's all this money out there. So money's not necessarily, if you got the right product and you're growing,
but
why you when they could get it from some other guy?
I think a lot of it is the networking part of it, the marketing part of it.
Yeah.
Knowing that I could get Viore in certain people's hands that I'm friendly with.
Gotcha.
The Casamigos, same situation. Knowing that. Obviously coming from the restaurant business, but knowing a lot of people and restaurant people and kind of being out there in the world where, hey, JJ can help get this started and move some stuff and what have you. So I think it's a combination of that and just obviously being blessed to have good friends, that have given these opportunities.
We're almost out of time, and I always try to end with, we have a lot of aspiring entrepreneurs, and I was this kid.
Right.
You're out of college a couple years, you're doing a job, you don't want to do that job.
Right.
But you're not quite sure what you want to do. You go, I'm an entrepreneur at heart, but I mean, do I buy a dry cleaner? Do I buy a restaurant? Do I try to do a startup? Do you start a tequila brand?
Right.
What do you do? It sounds like when I look at your career as an outsider, when you were, doing your football thing, you didn't think real estate. And when you were doing real estate, you didn't think about tequila company investing.
Right.
So do you have any advice for that young man or woman who's quote unquote trying to figure it out?
I mean, opportunities only present, I should say good opportunities only present themselves once in a blue moon. But you never know sometimes which ones are going to be good, which ones aren't going to be good.
Mm-hmm.
Casamigos could have very easily been another tequila, just kind of goes away by the wayside.
And there's a lot of
Viore could have been, see you later.
Yeah.
That was fun to start, but it's over.
Mm-hmm.
So, take as many chances as your wallet will allow you.
Okay.
Yeah. Try to be smart. Try to believe and trust in who these opportunities are coming from.
Mm-hmm.
The track record of these people is another thing, because there'll be a lot of people out there that have asked me personally for money.
I'm sure.
And you're like, whoa, let me just.
That's my plan in about 10 minutes when we get done.
I'll give it to you. No. But a lot of these people that come ask for money, and it happens to me more often than not, and it's like, let me just cross my T's and dot my I's, or have my attorney look at it.
Of course.
And it's like, nah, you're not going down that road.
Yep.
Just try to be as careful as you can, But as the old saying goes, you throw enough shit against the wall, something bound to stick.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you get one of those stickers that's a good ride.
Yep.
But just being smart, surrounding yourself with great people.
Sounds like you've done a real good job of that.
It is huge. Well, thank you. It's as I was always taught growing up, you are what you hang around with,
Mm-hmm.
right? You always want to be around the right people.
Yep.
And it takes a lifetime to build a reputation. It takes a second to lose it.
That is the truth.
Right? So you need to always keep that at the back of your head. Always treat people how you wish to be treated. Always just try to do the right thing and be genuine about it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be cheesy about it. Don't be like, overkill about it, because that just, it doesn't work. People are smart.
Yep.
They'll pick up on it. You just got to be you.
That's true even in social media or even here on
matter.
YouTube.
Doesn't
People
matter.
know when it's bullshit. We got to be authentic.
There's no
That's
question.
what works.
And we all have great qualities, and we all have things in our lives, but you just got to count your blessings and kind of stay in your lane, as I like to say. Just stay in your lane.
Yep.
And as long as you stay in your lane and you're respectful and you do the right thing, to whatever degree, things are going to work out for you.
And then the final thing is networking. You've done an incredible job of it. It doesn't sound like it's any, evil plan where I'm going to, connect with the Hall of Fame athletes all over the world. It was never that. You've obviously been successful at networking. What mistakes do you see people doing when trying to network?
Pushing too hard.
Okay.
Pushing too hard is a no-no.
Yeah.
In my book.
Yeah.
Some people try it and they maybe it works for them.
Yeah.
Maybe it doesn't. But you never push too hard. You always want to leave the best impression you can with whoever you're talking to.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If I'm talking to you, I want to leave the best impression I possibly can upon you. You may come across another writer or another person giving interviews and be like, man, I spent some time with JJ, and what a class act. What a great dude. Just solid, down to earth, just humble, just whatever. And it kind of goes like that. Now it can be in anything. Go
100%.
play golf with one of these celebrity guys or one of these, top CEOs in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Just always remember who you're with, remember your audience, do the right thing. Just do the right thing. You never want to push too hard. It's never about you.
That's what people miss.
Never about you.
Yep.
It's about the moment that you're in and you're surrounded. It's not about you. Just
a lot of people don't get that.
They don't get it.
Yep.
And, a lot of the employees that work underneath me, it's one of the biggest lessons I try to implement to them. It's like, it's not about you, Let's just make it about them, and it'll come back to you,
Yep.
Hopefully, but it's about them.
Yep.
So doing that and always knowing that, you never know who that person's going to go talk to next.
Yep.
And what door that could open for you or close for you.
Yep.
And always kind of thinking ahead, always knowing what could happen or what couldn't happen are some mental notes that I always try to be very conscious of, no matter where I'm at.
I've got the same philosophy, and just one thing to add to that, I always and this is what I'm even doing right now with you, I try to add something. I try to give something.
Right.
I think you got to give something before
For sure.
you can ask.
For sure.
And I think a lot of people just ask, hey, could you look at my proposal, JJ? Or hey, what do you think of this investment? I'm sure you get that all day long, and those DMs don't even get answered.
No.
But for me, the way I go, okay, you know, somebody introduced me to you. I go, wow, that's a really interesting guy that I'd like to talk about, and I'm sure he has some good lessons to share.
Sure.
So what can I do for him? Because
Right.
it's not about me, it's about you.
Right.
I could write him a really good Forbes article, and I could do a really good video interview with him, and maybe he could use that for clips for something in the
100%.
future. Who knows?
100%.
And even if I never talk to him again, so what? It was
100%.
worth just the hour. Maybe I learned one thing that I can use in my life, right? You know, I don't know if I'll ever live one of those properties someday, but I think a lot of people just try to think of what can they get right now out of that person because they're in front of me. I may never be in front of them again. Hey, can you give me a deal on a house?
Yeah. It's just
Do you see that?
all the time.
Yep.
All the time. And it's just patience. You know what I mean? It's not about that one time. You got to have confidence in yourself, knowing that I am going to see Tom again.
Yep.
I am going to meet so-and-so again.
Yep.
Somehow, some way, I'm going to cross paths again.
Yep.
You're better off just leaving it alone and letting it, again, happen organically.
Yep.
You don't want to go charge anything or make it about that one moment. You want to live in the moment, you want to enjoy the moment, and you want to be able to make the best impression you can in that moment.
Yep.
And being pushy or being forceful or making it about yourself,
That ain't the way.
that ain't the way. That ain't the way.
Well, brother, thank you so much. I really enjoyed this conversation.
My pleasure. Likewise. It was a
Yeah.
lot of fun getting together and catching up a bit.
This was good. Guys, hopefully you liked the interview. If you like this and like what we're doing, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. We do new interviews every Tuesday with entrepreneurs from all walks of life. So this week you learned a little something about real estate, networking, and startups. Next week we may hear from an artist, and he's going to talk about NFTs he's involved in. So every week we try to give you a behind the scenes peek at a different industry that you may want to go into, or maybe something you can learn. So thanks again. And also, if you don't have time to watch the videos, make sure you check out the audio podcast too, available on all podcast platforms. Thanks for watching, guys.